This video contains major spoilers for Season 7, Episode 5 of Rick and Morty. Alright, you saw the title. What was the relationship between Prime and C-137? I'm not gonna draw this out, I think they were fucking. That's my thesis statement. And I'm not talking about casual sex, I think they were in a relationship. Hear me out. Let's start out by establishing what we know about Rick and Prime. First off, forget everything in the Season 3 premiere. That was fabricated. We have no idea how much of that was true, and some of it already conflicts with what we saw in the flashback in the Season 5 finale. Speaking of which, that is something we can take as canon, so let's look at that. So, Prime is holding a portal gun, he's smiling, then Rick turns away and says something and Prime is sad. Like, genuinely sad. Look at that, that's like a cartoon frowny face. And then Prime gets pissed off and says something and leaves. And that's it, that's all we've got. Let's try and contextualize that by taking a look at some key dialogue from Rick in the past couple of seasons.
That's what happens when you let people in and they stop respecting you. They touch your shit, they screw things up, they kill your fucking family.
Well, as far as I know, only one guy killed Rick's family, so this line is about Prime. Meaning, Rick actually knew Prime beforehand, and not just as in they'd met a couple times. They were friends, or something like it.
Honestly, wife guy, I do miss when it was just us. The only two Ricks who actually invented portal travel.
That is new info, as of Unmortricken.
You're talking about an infinite father. I've met myself out there infinite times. Infinite shit happens, including, as you put it, forgetting the ice cream.
You've forgotten the ice cream?
Drill me for details when I'm drunker.
So, Rick has had sex with other Ricks. This is not at all surprising. I would be shocked if he claimed he hadn't.
In the meantime, don't worry about what's crazy. You know, as the kids say, you do you.
Oh, thanks. Thank you so much, Dad.
One thing to keep in mind, though. It's not just your own ice cream you're forgetting, it's your family's. If you forget it too much, you start having to keep secrets.
Now, that is interesting. Because, to me at least, he sounds like he's talking from a place of experience. And Rick only had one family that we know of, so if he is speaking from experience here, that means Rick cheated on Diane. With himself. Also, he says if you forget it too much, as in multiple times. Rick's not alluding to a single incident, he's alluding to an affair. So to recap, at some point, Rick and Prime were the only Ricks with access to the multiverse. And also, Rick and Prime had some sort of relationship. And also, Rick cheated on Diane with another Rick. Keeping in mind Occam's razor, put all three of these pieces together. What I get is that Rick and Prime were in a relationship. But then what? What happened? Well, the two clearly had some sort of falling out. I think probably it was only after this falling out that Prime began to share portal technology with other Ricks. My first guess as to what happened would be that Rick dumped Prime because he didn't want to cheat on Diane anymore. But in the flashback, Prime is holding his portal gun before he gets upset, so is that important? It genuinely might not be. But maybe Prime asked Rick to travel the multiverse with him? We know that's something Ricks do when they're smitten.
Come with me.
To somewhere nearby?
Anywhere. Everywhere.
Couple other things to note. This theory isn't completely off the wall, because Bethic Twinstick established that the show is more than willing to genuinely explore self-cest as a nuanced concept. Also, Beth is very much like her father. Maybe Beth and Space Beth are a parallel to Rick and Prime?
I don't get it. You're the housewife and I'm the space lady, but you're the one that chewed me up and spit me out? I don't want to just forget about you.
Or maybe they aren't, I don't know. And last but not least, I want to revisit a couple of lines from Unmortricken.
Honestly, wife guy, I do miss when it was just us. The only two Ricks who actually invented portal travel. You're welcome, by the way. I made you. I showed you infinity.
Prime says, I showed you infinity, and I miss when it was just us. These are lines that aren't by themselves inherently romantic, but they hit different, and in some ways even make more sense when viewed through a romantic lens. So yeah, I'm pretty much fully convinced that Rick and Prime were in a relationship. Maybe you now agree with me. Maybe you think I'm crazy. Either way, thanks for hearing me out. Like and subscribe to keep me warm on cold, cold nights.